Hello everyone, this is Tengu Rue, and welcome back to another Bloodborne boss drawing. In the last episode, we fought Ebrietas, and now have made our way back into the Nightmare of Mensis to take on its final challenge. Fighting our way past several shadows of Yharnam and some giant eye-covered pigs, we once again come across Yharnam herself. Wordless, she stares up at Mergo's loft, our next destination. We take the lift up to the loft and find an open space with a baby carriage in the center. We hear the cries of an infant from within, but as we approach, a great shape swoops in to protect it. Here, we face Mergo's wet nurse, our next boss in this challenge. The infant that the wet nurse is guarding is Mergo, the child of the Thumeran queen Yharnam. Judging by the bloody wounds on her clothes, it seems likely that the baby was forcibly taken from her by the wet nurse, who is now hell-bent on keeping us from reaching the child. This many-armed and winged Great One wields several curved blades that it uses to slash at us in a quick flurry of attacks. Try to get at the sides or back of the boss to deal damage. The sheer number of attacks at different angles will make it difficult to avoid damage entirely, but you should be able to recoup losses through regain as long as you aren't taking it head-on. As her health drops, she will begin to use a new attack, where the arena is enveloped in a purple fog, and Mergo's wet nurse begins to teleport around the space, slashing at you from every direction. This attack can end the fight very quickly, but there are a few ways to go about dealing with it. The first is to stay on the move, rolling around to wait for the attack to finish and for the clouds to dissipate. The other option is to go on the offense. You may not realize it at first, but a clone of the boss is the one that's teleporting around you. You can find the real boss in the fog and go directly for her. You can take out the clone if you have a fast enough weapon and focus attacks on the real Mergo's back. It can be a little tricky to pull off safely, but if you get the hang of the timing, you can make short work of this boss. Once the wet nurse is defeated, we can hear the cries of the infant throughout the room, but with no sign of the child. After a short while, the cries stop, and the message "Nightmare Slain" comes across the screen. Going back to some of the lore we have uncovered throughout our journey, we should be able to piece together what has happened. We find a message in Yahar'gul that says, "Nightmare rituals crave a newborn. Find one and silence its harrowing cries." We also gained 1/3 umbilical cord for defeating this boss that states, "Every Great One loses its child and then yearns for a surrogate." This cord granted Mensis audience with Mergo, but resulted in the stillbirth of their brains. We guessed that the child's mother was Queen Yharnam, but as for the child's father, my guess would have to be the formless Great One, Udin. We can find another umbilical cord from Ariana after she has also given birth to a Great One, and we learn that Udin yearned for a surrogate like all other Great Ones. It also says, to think, it was corrupted blood that began this eldritch liaison. The corrupted blood is likely that of the Thumerans, and Yharnam, being their queen, brings everything together. Another interesting note is that we do not get the message "Nightmare Slain" immediately when the wet nurse is defeated, but rather when the cries stop, meaning we completed our mission to silence the harrowing cries. For our gear in this drawing, I decided to go with the crow feather set that you unlock from completing Eileen's questline. Although Eileen hunted other hunters, the set matches the boss quite nicely, and I thought it would be a good visual fit. Even her twin blades are similar to that of the boss, which really begs the question as to whether or not there are some deeper connections here. Mergo's wet nurse is technically the last boss needed to clear the game, but we do have 2 more optional final bosses to finish up. Before doing that though, I think it's finally time we headed into the Old Hunters DLC. I know a lot of you have been really excited about that, and I know I'm looking forward to that as well. We can save the true final bosses for the end of the series. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and let me know what gear you would like to see used in our fight against Ludwig in the next video. I know some of you gave me suggestions in the previous video, so I'll be sure to go back and check those out when I'm considering. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you'll join me in the next video.